It is a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV main news broadcast. To present it, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. A look at the headlines. Health Minister cautions Zambians against trivializing COVID-19. State House pastor condemns UPND as PF plan to retaliate. Government urged to make e-learning inclusive. In international news, South African truck drivers protest hiring of foreign nationals. And in sports news, Kunda welcomes CAF Women's Champions League. For the details, do join me shortly after this break.
To increase sales of your products and services, advertise on Camnet TV. Reach your clients and target markets directly. See your business grow. For special rates, you can contact our marketing department on
0955 664 305 or 0978 290 626. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
The details. Chairman for the Zambia presidential praying team at State House has condemned opposition United Party for National Development UPND members who booed President Edgar Lungu in Monza district of Southern Province. Archbishop Peter Njovu, who is also Bible Gospel Church in Africa Bigoka overseer, says the behavior is uncalled for, especially that it is targeted at the head of state. The man of God explains that President Edgar Lungu deserves respect from all Zambians. He has since called for peace and reconciliation.
Not more than 4 days ago, President Edgar Lungu was booed in Monza's Southern Province, with residents raising UPND symbols during his tour in the district. Thereafter, Lusaka Province Minister and Kabushi MP Bowman Lusambo wrote on his Facebook page announcing that the Patriotic Front members on the Copper Belt intended to make it impossible for the United Party for National Development UPND to conduct any business in the province, charging that the ruling party members would reciprocate the treatment portrayed by the opposition party UPND. However, this fracas has raised concern in view of the upcoming general elections, as Lusaka-based Archbishop Dr. Peter Njovu condemns the differences existing in the two political parties.
For 54 years, we have existed as one Zambia, one nation. Despite our backgrounds, our ethnic grouping, the culture which is coming up, it's very, very unfortunate. I don't know whether our politicians have run out of ideas and they would like to get the power by any means, either by insulting, be a good insulter, and the people, the youth, they'll say he is the man who speaks louder, even when you don't have ideas. It's very, very unfortunate that we are reaching to that scenario as a country. And also that the culture of no respect to the elders, it is developing, and we are trying to embrace it as our own culture, which is un-Zambian.
Dr. Peter Njovu advises politicians to avoid losing focus on what is good for a Christian nation like Zambia. The Archbishop is also disheartened by what he has called as disrespecting the president.
What people should know that President Edgar Lungu, he is not a party president. He is our president. He is the president for Zambia, elected by the Zambians. And that throne deserves respect. No matter whether you don't like him or not, but you must respect the throne. Because the president itself must be respected by all Zambians. And what happened to bore the president, it's very unfortunate. I have said now and again, and I will say it. We need to reach a point to accept our diverse views and even our political inclination and remain Zambians together.
Dr. Ndlovu further urged all Zambians to embrace the freedoms at hand or regret forever losing them.
Remember that every freedom has got its limit. There is where you end somebody, you injure somebody. And I believe that our politicians, they're not going to put the boundaries for one. We have one Zambia, which one day we'll regret if we cannot preserve it and protect it.
Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Namwenga Mwinga.
Meanwhile, the ruling Patriotic Front PF in Lusaka district has challenged the UPND to acknowledge the leadership of President Edgar Lungu and his right to travel to any part of the country to monitor developmental projects. Party district chairman Forbes Mufwaya says President Lungu has proved that he is all-embracing, hence it is very disappointing to see UPND supporters humiliate him in such a manner as they did in Monze. Mr. Mufwaya has since demanded for an immediate apology from the UPND leadership over what transpired on Saturday in Monze, failure to which they will retaliate. He has warned people in the opposition who think they will continue perpetrating such behavior with impunity to stop henceforth.
Patriotic Front, we condemn in the strongest terms the behavior of the UPND leadership and its members on Saturday in Monze when the president was on his tour of duty in that part of the country. We know very well that those hooligans that bored the president were just planted there deliberately to publicly embarrass the head of state. This is uncalled for, it's an embarrassment, and it's very, very shameful on the part of a party called UPND. We therefore, as a party, warn sternly those that are involved in that kind of behavior to forthwith stop. Because as a party, we're not going to sit and watch our president being embarrassed like that. By the way, everyone must realize that President Lungu is not just the president of the Patriotic Front. He's a Republican president, elected by the people of Zambia. And he's got the right to traverse all the parts of this country. And at this time, you've seen there's a lot of infrastructure development going on in all parts of the country. So he went on to, check on what the progress of the development that are taking place in that part of the country. And then a party in opposition behaves in that manner. We want to appeal to the leadership of UPND to immediately tender an apology to His Excellency, to the people of Zambia, and to the Patriotic Front. And if they don't do that, we will definitely retaliate accordingly as a party.
A youth from the opposition UPND laments challenges in accessing any form of funding from the ruling PF. Otias Walia claims that funding under the Citizens Economic Empowerment (CEC) and other youth funds are just a preserve for PF cadres. Mr. Bwalia further bets that the recently announced 30 million kwacha funds meant for artists will only benefit a few individuals aligned with PF. He accuses government of lacking foresight in dealing with unemployment, among other challenges affecting the youth. Mr. Bwalia has since urged Zambians to vote out the PF in 2021.
First value, when you look at that pronouncement on a stimulus package by President Edgar Lungu, one would think that truly he means well for the youths, and truly he's so much concerned about the welfare of the youths. One would think truly he's so much concerned about the levels of unemployment that youths are facing today in this country. But if you are to look at that issue critically, you come to realize that the man does not mean well to start with. The question we have is that where was President Lungu from the time that he formed the government, or from the time that he became president, that it can only take him, it can only take the youths to protest that today can come up with a stimulus package. So we look at that stimulus package as youths, as a bribe to basically who support and win support for 2021 elections, which is very unfair and this is something that should be condemned, that this stimulus package is only targeted at a particular grouping, okay, which is the artists. But what of us, youths who are not artists? What of those other youths out there who have just come out of university? Those other youths who have just come out of college? Where is their stake in this whole thing? Where is their role in this whole thing? They need to have a part as well. We have young people today who have left college, who have left university, and they are roaming the streets. Okay, they have got no employment. So we just want to call upon President Lungu and his government, first of all, to be serious, okay, with what they are doing. Number two, they shouldn't take youth for granted.
A disability activist, Ian Banda, says visually impaired and deaf students are having challenges following the e-learning classes on television as their concerns have not been taken into consideration. Mr. Banda explains that it is impossible for a blind person to follow lessons on television at home, urging government to find means of helping them. We have more in this report.
Imagine a blind learner trying to access lessons through a television broadcast, a deaf person having a radio broadcast as the only means of accessing e-lessons, and the list is endless. These are some of the key concerns and questions people with disabilities ask in an effort of seeking to know the true meaning of not leaving anyone behind. Ian Banda, a youth living with a disability and an activist, shares his view on this issue.
The Youth in Action for Disability Inclusion of Zambia wishes to appreciate the effort by the government through the Ministry of Higher Education and the Ministry of General Education in providing alternative platforms for learning, such as e-learning, in view of COVID-19. This is, in our view, offers opportunities to all learners to access education in an inclusive setup. However, notably with concerns, youth and children with disabilities are amongst the world's most marginalized and stigmatized. We feel, since e-learning, it being a social activity understanding in a socially constructed, e-learning should be designed to promote participation in allowing all students to take part in all subjects and activities in enhancing cooperative learning and offering powerful opportunities for all.
Mr. Banda feels the need by government through the respective education ministries to quickly examine methods, tools and practices to ensure that these learners with disabilities are not left behind.
Appeal to the Ministry of Higher General Education is to quickly examine methods, tools and practices to propose a reference module for designing accessible e-learning courses in higher and primary lower education contexts in leaving no one behind.
Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Mwinga.
For now, we take a break, but do join us for more interesting stories lined up for you.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
You know I can take her a bake.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Health Minister Chitalu Chilufya says COVID-19 is a grave public health concern and should not be treated as mere flu. Speaking during a COVID-19 update, Dr. Chilufya reveals that COVID-19 has in the last 11 days claimed 18 lives with a recorded of 324 positive new cases. This brings the total number of deaths to 42 since the first case of COVID-19 was recorded. The minister says Lusaka is once again a hotspot for the virus, urging the public to be more vigilant to preventing the spread of COVID-19. More in this report.
The new normal is a term that people use as a backbone to avoid observing the COVID-19 guidelines as prescribed by the Ministry of Health. In this COVID era, people are expected to follow guidelines such as masking up, observing social distancing, and hand sanitizing to stop the spread of the virus. 11 days since the last COVID-19 update by the Ministry of Health, 342 new cases have been recorded and 18 deaths, of which 14 were brought in dead. Minister of Health, Dr. Chitalu Chilufya, says this calls for worry and serious observation of COVID-19 regulations. The minister also says that some of the people that have died of COVID-19 are non-patients of non-communicable diseases such as high blood pressure, while others are those that had tuberculosis, among other diseases.
Zambia has, in the last 11 days, recorded a surge in the number of COVID cases and COVID-related deaths, recording a total of 324 cases and 18 COVID-related deaths, 14 of which have been brought in dead. The Republican President, His Excellency Dr. Edgar Chagwa, has expressed deep concern at the situation and has directed the Ministry of Health and its multi-sectoral partners to escalate the response, and further, he has directed all citizens to act responsibly to self and to society by ensuring escalated adherence to public health and social measures to mitigate the rise in the spread of COVID-19.
And during his address, the minister also evoked a statutory instrument which will ban public gatherings only if necessary with prior notification from the inspectors. Dr. Chilufya says this is a realization that people are relaxed to observing these guidelines.
I have revoked and replaced Regulation Number 9 in SI Number 22 of 2020 on the aspect of restriction of gatherings, which shall now read: a public ceremony or gathering shall not be held in an infected area without the written permission of an authorized officer. Previously, it just used to read about the number 5, and following presidential review, it did read 50. To date, in our attempt to ensure that we return to a new normal, we reset to a new normal and ensure that activities are happening in our communities, we have made a decision based on science that gatherings that conform to public health measures will be allowed.
And Medical Quality Health in Zambia says it is disappointing at how the general public has misconceived the new normal set forth by the Republican President Edgar Lungu.
As MQZ, we are disappointed with how the general public has misconceived the new normal set forth by the Republican President Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. the general public has now relaxed to follow the COVID-19 guidelines. You know, lest we forget, COVID-19 is unforgiving and has the ability to overwhelm even the strongest than before. Therefore, we would like to encourage the general public to continue to follow the pandemic guidelines.
While the public is reluctant to COVID-19 regulations, Minister of Health Dr. Chitalu Chilufya says COVID-19 is a grave health emergency and should be treated as such for it to be cleared. Zambia's COVID-19 positive cases since March, when the first case was recorded, stands at 1,895 with 1,412 recoveries. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Patriotic Front PF Deputy Media Director Antonio Mwanza says it is unfortunate that most people rejecting Bill 10 do not understand the contents contained in the bill. In an interview with Camnet TV, Mr. Mwanza says the bill in its current form is progressive, adding that all the alleged bad clauses have been removed. He explains that Bill 10 is a product of all political parties that attended the meeting of Secretary General in Siavonga and wonders why the opposition has U-turned on what was agreed. Mr. Mwanza says this is not the time for people to discuss the process of making the bill, but the content of the document. But some stakeholders had vowed that Bill 10 is an evil document that should never see the light of day.
When government has incorporated all the amendments as proposed by the Committee of Parliament, and the government has gone ahead to publish those proposed amendments so that the Zambian people read for themselves. They have changed their strategy, complaining and claiming that government has no jurisdiction to publish the proposed recommendations in the Gazette. What we want to tell the people of Zambia is that everything that was controversial, every issue in the bill that the people of Zambia fought against, the government has heard and the government has incorporated all the progressive bills, amendments as proposed by the Select Committee and proposed by the Zambian people. So the content that we have today as Bill 10 is a progressive content. And what we want to hear now is that those members of parliament from the opposition must sit in the house and debate and not run away. So this process now is for the Zambian people to take time, and we want to urge the Zambian people to take time to look at the gazette that government has been published and read all the proposed amendments that government has made to Bill 10 and make a judgment for themselves whether those proposed amendments are progressive or not. We should now have a debate on the content, not on the process. The process already took place. Now it's a matter of the content, and government has published the entire content of Bill 10. We want to urge the Zambian people to read for themselves and not be misled to condemn Bill 10 without reading.
Meanwhile, the UPND has successfully held district elections in Lusaka. The party has since elected Lusaka businessman Xavier Ndaba as its district chairman. Mr. Ndaba says his victory is the victory of the party to steer to greater heights. He promises massive mobilization within Lusaka district. Mr. Ndaba has also called for unity in the party.
This victory is not for me as an individual, but it's a victory for the party. And I also want to urge my losing brothers that they should never lose hope. We should remain united as one, because our goal actually is one, which is to see a better Zambia in future and remove the tyrannic government of the Patriotic Front. The party, UPND, we need to be united. From the structures, the wards, the constituencies up to the district level, we need to be united in one and have one purpose of unity. In so doing, once we are united, we are able to push, we are able to mobilize and get the needed numbers that are needed in Lusaka. We need to be visible in the compounds of Lusaka. We need to be visible in the town of Lusaka itself. I can promise the UPND that change will be seen in Lusaka district. You can be rest assured. Actually, the people of Lusaka are actually on our side. What has been lacking of late is the leadership, is someone to show them the leadership that yes, as UPND we are here. And of course I want to say today the leadership has been ushered in through myself and of course the rest of the team. We can assure the UPND that come 2021 Lusaka will be something different. Actually not even come 2021, by the end of this year, 2020, we should be talking about something else in terms of Lusaka.
We take a set of commercials, but do stay tuned as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
To increase sales of your products and services, advertise on Camnet TV. Reach your clients and target markets directly and see your business grow. For special rates, you can contact our marketing department on
0955 664 305 or 0978 290 626. Camnet TV.
Not just another channel.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customer service at lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, South African truck drivers have staged a nationwide strike over the recruitment of foreign nationals by South African fleet companies. Over the weekend, several trucks driven by foreigners are reported to have been set ablaze. The truck drivers have brought forward a number of concerns, mostly centered among being allegedly sidelined by employers in favor of foreign nationals. It is also alleged that there are some companies who hire non-South African citizens exclusively. South African Transport and Allied Workers Union has, however, distanced itself from the looming strike. The South African truck drivers are slamming firms for favoring foreign nationals who they say are likely to accept to be paid less. And moving on in sports news, Football Association of Zambia Executive Committee member in charge of women football, Brenda Kunda, says the introduction of CAF Champions League for women will help make national leagues competitive. Kunda said that women football will be given more opportunities on the continent with a continental club tournament. Kunda says while the cancellation of African Women Championship was regrettable, the Champions League could compensate for the loss. Kunda paid tribute to the owners of women's clubs that have been critical in the growth of the ladies' game. Kunda expressed delight at the growing number of women footballers trekking into foreign leagues. So far, Zambia has 4 players in Europe and 1 in China, with more expected to make breakthroughs. That sports item brings us to the end of Camnet News. But before we go, a look at the headlines once again. Health Minister cautions Zambians against trivializing COVID-19. State House pastor condemns UPND as PF plan to retaliate. Government urged to make e-learning inclusive. And in international news, SA truck drivers protest hiring of foreign nationals. And in sports news, Kunda welcomes CAF Women's Champions League. But before we go, we look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from the book of Mark 10:27, and it reads, Jesus looked at them and said, With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible. This has been Camnet TV, your channel, and I have been your anchor, Liseli Kanyanga. God bless.